this too.
Oh, really? Hi, guys!
Oh!
What's
I
happening?
have so much enthusiasm right now. I am here sitting with Jesse Williams, Rob Corn. Hey, you're telling me to quiet down? It's an exciting day. We're here to talk about
Are we in
Japril the movie.
focus? It looks
a
foggy,
little.
doesn't it? Who's the DP?
Let's talk about that some more.
Let's talk about cameras for now.
You're here to
So, all right, you guys submitted questions.
I actually asked for it to be.
Did you direct a gauze?
Oh,
Gauze.
yeah.
I needed that.
Understandably
Calm it down.
Yes.
Um,
The age.
all right,
Do you want to say
so-
the thing about the thing yet, or no? We're going to answer
No,
some
answer some questions.
You guys submitted a bunch of questions. We are going to just ask them randomly, pulling them out of a box. Okay, for Sarah and Jesse, what do you love most about Jackson and April's relationship? Sarah?
I love that they were best friends first. I love that there was like no hint of romance between the two of them before they wound up together. So they have a really strong basis of friendship, of really knowing one another. And I also love that they're very different because they can kind of challenge one another in that way.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing, is that constantly being demonstrating their difference and really testing the relationship. The relationship really is, get to know people best when you are under conflict or stress, or people are kind of under pressure. So we put each other under a lot of pressure.
Yes.
So there's no rest for the weary in this relationship. So
Keeps it exciting.
it gives us something to be excited about doing every day. It ain't boring.
But also, your guys' chemistry is so good together. With all the conflict
Very
and all
nice
of
of
that.
you to say.
As a director,
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
We like working together, I think.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
when somebody's a really a pain in the ass, it really helps to give something real on screen.
So
Yeah.
nice of you.
Your hands are freezing.
He talks about
sorry
himself
about
a lot.
Rob! Sorry, I'm really excited.
What scene was your favorite from this episode?
Ah.
Well, this leads into
Oh, yeah. That was your favorite?
a special little gift
Okay.
that we received from the writer of the episode.
I'm gonna
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just show you
You should
this
you should
right here. Just
know
that's
that has
what
a
this
special
is.
significance in the
Special
episode.
significance.
It's not a medical instrument. It's
It's
actually
not a spacecraft.
but you will after tonight's episode. We'll see who's first to guess the answer as to kind of where they spotted that.
So that was my favorite scene to shoot in this episode. It was basically I've seen some of your tweets and quotes and stuff that it was a one-act play. Basically,
Yeah.
we shot a scene that was about 11 pages long between the two of them, and we shot it on a Sunday,
Yeah.
which
My favorite day to shoot.
my favorite day to shoot also.
Football
Everyone's
season.
favorite day to shoot.
And because of their professionalism and the wonderful relationship they have with one another and being prepared, we shot the 11 pages in about 11 hours. And their performances were fantastic, which I think you will see tonight. So the episode, I think that might have been my favorite, because I actually have never done something like that before.
Right.
So it was an
Have
adventure
we
for
ever
me.
had a scene that long on this?
I don't believe so.
Most
no.
scenes are what, for context, guys? Half a page, two pages.
Anywhere
Yeah,
between,
like 2.5 pages is a pretty long.
pretty long scene.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
was
11 pages.
11 pages.
Yeah.
We were rehearsing a lot before we came. Like when we were shooting other scenes in the other previous episodes, we were constantly going back to our script and just running lines and running lines and running lines. And there were rewrites coming in all the time too, so we were just
Keeping it fresh.
fresh and alive. Let's move on. Sarah and Jesse. Jackson and April started out as friends on the show. Did you anticipate you would become a couple?
No, definitely not.
Not at all.
And luckily nobody read the letters that I was submitting to make sure that didn't happen. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't have any idea. I think sometimes, particularly on our show, right, people kind of get brought in and there's things kind of sizzle pretty quickly, or they're put in scenarios like that, and I think it's pretty uncommon that we kind of interacted the way we did around friendship, and we did have a shared experience, right? We came as the invaders in the invasion episode. I think that was episode 5 of season 6.
Episode 6.
That's what I said. And yeah, no, I didn't expect it at all. I mean, she got fired, so she weaseled her way back in.
I weaseled my way back in.
To my
Thank you
heart.
for
I
that.
meant.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what
the
you
heart.
meant. Oh,
That was
fantastic.
implied, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember having that after we read that in the script, having this long conversation about. Wait, hang on a second. Are they going to start dating, or
Right.
She had, it was.
Is this just a board?
He knows she's a virgin, and so that was like a big.
No. I mean, something to talk about. It's a big go.
We were all freaked out with that.
Yeah.
It was a little crazy. So anyway, yeah, it was fun. We had no idea. Okay. For Rob.
Oh, Jesus. What inspired you to become a director? Well, this is not going to be the answer that anybody thinks. I was an assistant director and a producer prior to being a director, and I didn't know if I would ever direct. I didn't think that was in my calling. But once I started producing, I found that I was going in and telling directors on shows that I was producing what they should and shouldn't be doing, and how long they had, and I realized that these guys that had directed for 20 years were listening to a guy who'd never directed. So I went to the executive producers on the show that I was on at the time and asked if they would give me an opportunity to step in those shoes, and so I could understand it a little more. And I was fortunate enough to be given an episode, and they liked what I was doing, and I really enjoyed it. And one thing led to the next, and here I am.
Yeah.
More directing.
Directing some of our most pivotal episodes.
Yeah. Rob's been with Japril in some of their biggest episodes.
Yeah. That's actually the funny moment prior to starting this episode. Sarah, these guys sometimes know what's coming before the production side does, because they're talking to the writers constantly. And when we heard that this episode was coming, Sarah emailed me and said, "Who's directing the episode?" And I emailed her back, "Me." I hope that's okay. And I didn't get a response.
Yeah. Classic.
And I went, "Uh-oh, this is not going to go well." And then she actually did, and I just didn't see it. And
thank you. Yes,
she
I was
responded.
very
And
excited.
she was
Email
very
was
happy.
We love Rob. We love being directed by Rob. Rob.
Oh, come on,
Oh,
Rob.
come on.
More questions for Rob.
Have you been Team J? For me,
Yeah.
have you been
Yeah.
Team
Are you
Japril?
fans of us?
Oh yeah. Well,
From
obviously,
day one,
From
though.
day one.
Day one.
From day one.
when they ran out of the church, when he
Yeah.
stole her heart and
Yes.
said, "I love you," that was me. And so I've been a fan of theirs. I love Japril.
Even we haven't had a ton of, but we had a little bit of competition. I mean, it's not like we're not like a lot of the doctors on the show that have slept with everybody.
Right.
Well,
Why you seem really nervous now? That
What?
that up.
yeah.
No, I just have a frog in
But-
my
Okay,
throat.
we'll
for
talk
some
about that
reason.
later.
So we shouldn't talk about me sleeping with the two of you.
Well, not on Facebook.
No,
It's a
oh,
Snapchat. That's
oh,
a Snapchat.
Snapchat.
comment.
What
All
is
right.
happening?
I'm director. You
Why
have to-
is April fighting so hard to keep Jackson? Isn't she the one who left? Okay.
2 questions.
That's 2 questions.
Cheater.
April loves Jackson with her whole heart. When their baby died, she died, and couldn't figure out how to heal from it. That's why she left. So now she's back, and she kind of that time over at Jordan really healed her. Unfortunately, it also really wounded him, which is very sad and very, very upsetting. But so yeah, she's fighting like mad to stay together because she loves him. She wants to be married to him. She doesn't want the marriage to end. She doesn't want to end it with him. She had to leave in order to heal from a tragedy. But I wish our characters apologized a little bit more on this show. We don't apologize to each other.
He keeps asking
We
you to.
really don't apologize to each other, and like my fantasy is for her to be like, you know what, I did this thing that I needed, but I recognize that it really, really hurt you, and I wish I had not hurt you so
That would
badly.
diffuse too much tension.
It would. We need tension. Yeah, people don't apologize because we need
I
tension.
think they kind of know what they're doing here. It's been established. All right. For Sarah and Jesse, what has been the most challenging scene to shoot?
Ooh,
Uh,
baby done.
Facebook, it doesn't look like anything happened, but it's just
Cool.
probably because there's a weird.
You
All right.
you all
Okay,
might be wondering
so-
who that voice is.
okay,
I was
that's
talking.
the voice of God. Okay, so
Yeah.
what's it?
I would say that for sure the scene where we had to do it was like a 10-hour shoot of doing the labor and delivery and death of Samuel was just agony, and also the scene before.
I was thinking for me
Before.
before that you had to push out the dead baby. I was in the the previous scene where we had to do therapy with Gina Davis's character, like
Yeah,
kind of not
oh.
therapy, but get the news
Yeah,
and
getting
kind of
the
really
news.
process it. But really, that entire episode was honestly really traumatic. It was really hard. And I thought about this yesterday. I was doing ADR for an argument that we're having, and it really does take a toll going back into that space. I mean, Japril have been through a lot, and the tension, remains. We're constantly kind of fighting so hard for and against something that it really, you can't just walk in and out of that space. It is quite taxing, and it takes a lot of kind of preparation, and you carry it with you after you leave.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. When we shot the birth and death scene of Samuel, I went into early labor 10 hours later and gave birth to my child 3.5 weeks early in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Samuel
definitely
Norbert Drew.
everything about that is
Angel.
wrong.
Good.
If you could write anything into Jackson and April's storyline, what would it be?
I don't know. You already said.
I would say my
sorry.
apology. I would
Yeah.
say I would love to have a nice, big, good apology.
And then Jackson would say, "New phone. Who's this?"
And, and when you apologize, will you also ask him to get rid of Catherine?
Oh, hey, we don't. That's we don't
Oh,
know.
Okay, all right.
Well, Catherine, she was. You guys used to be Facebook friends.
We're
Yeah.
Facebook friends. I
Yeah,
love
Facebook
Catherine.
friends.
I love Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Oh,
no
Facebook.
issues
We're on
with
Facebook.
Yes.
talking
Facebook
about that.
friends.
They need to pay us
See
for
the
this.
way-
Okay, new
see
question.
the way you act then?
Did you say what you wanted to happen in the dream?
I did. I would respond smugly
Oh,
to
that's
your
horrible.
apology.
Okay, why is Jackson being so stubborn? Why can't he forgive April?
He's tried. But we have to keep in mind that I think at the end of whatever season it was last season or 2 seasons ago now, when she left, both of their child died. That both of them suffered through that. That was horrible for both of them. But his partner, the only person he had in that fight and in that experience, literally physically abandoned him, left, kind of on a whim, in his perspective, and went halfway around the country. And we did a world, yeah. It's damn it. Went halfway around the world, and I was thinking Jordan, Pennsylvania. So went halfway around the world, and but also like the next one, apparently not Moline. So we have, but what happens is we follow that up with a couple episodes where a year went by in 1 or 2 episodes, right? So we have to kind of remember that Jackson experienced that for an entire year of being alone. In the kind of the death throes of his relationship, of his life. What is he supposed to do? He lost his wife and his son basically in one fell swoop and was left alone to kind of deal with that for what felt like an eternity. And then she just shows back up and is like, let's start over. And it's not really how it works. It's hard for him to unremember those feelings and that lonesomeness and that feeling of betrayal and all those things that go with that. So I think it's not something you can do overnight. I think that those things are hard to forgive. You can try to forget them. You can try to move on, but it doesn't mean you don't think about it before you go to bed. It doesn't mean you don't think about it when you see her. It doesn't mean you don't think about it when you start fighting about other things. This is making her so comfortable.
Okay, let's move on to another question.
Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, is this
Oh,
the end
man.
of the end of last season with the tunnel collapse and the car and all that.
Yes.
That scene that you guys did by the car when you
Oh, yeah. When
when
I
you
say I
said-
want to
yeah,
go
you
back,
kind
and
of
you're like, I'm
ultimatum.
not going to be here.
That was a great scene too.
Yeah.
That,
And then I went again.
and then you went.
Yeah, just a quality individual. So what's the next question?
I had to heal. I was unable to be helpful to anyone. If you could give one piece of advice to Jackson or April, what would it be?
I think for Jackson it might be walking more in the middle of the road. I think sometimes Jackson is kind of really hot or really cold, really bottled up or really effusive and really kind of vulnerable. And I think it might be more healthy for him to be more communicative kind of throughout the process instead of kind of bottling that rage.
I would say April tends to run away. She'll like spaz out and have an emotional reaction in the moment when it would be the most helpful to actually face the situation and deal with it head on. She like runs away and like has her meltdown and then kind of comes back after she's had a chance to think through, which is human, but I, in a perfect world, I would love for her to be a little more emotionally mature in those moments.
Okay.
Last question? Oh.
That was
Last
fast.
question.
No, this one's too. That's just one-on-one. I don't want to hear the answer.
I want to answer this question. What's your favorite thing about working so closely with Jesse? Jesse doesn't like compliments.
His eyes? I love
No,
his eyes.
I don't care about his eyes.
Okay.
Jesse is an incredibly supportive and encouraging acting partner, and I think we kind of just like have each other's back in a pretty great way. There was this one moment actually that I'll point out in the scene that you love, the 11-page scene, where we were shooting it, and I was not able to. We got to my coverage, and I couldn't see the world from my perspective. I was on Jackson's side and not on April's side, and I started to kind of freak out about it because I was like, "What? I don't believe what I'm saying anymore. I don't believe." And he pulled me aside in a little huddle and basically gave me a pep talk in kind of the mind and thought process of April, not Jackson, in order to like put me back into the scene. And then I did, and it was awesome. And so that I feel like is a very good example of kind of what our working relationship is that we're just kind of lift each other up and support one another. So.
And I will say, from the directing perspective and the producing perspective, watching these two together, they never shut up. They talk. You have to separate them physically. When you say cut camera, and they start talking, and it's about the work and it's about other things. But I think they truly like each other away from the characters. So I think that.
And we care about the story a lot.
Yep.
We care about telling a really good story.
Yeah, it's a
and making it very
process, and
human.
we realized that early on that we have to be collaborators, not just puppets, right? This is a team effort, and all the everything about us that you guys love, that's the writers, the producers, the directors, the crew, everybody else that's involved. Filmmaking and TV is a super collaborative process, and we realized early on that we have to be really active in that process to give it our best.
And it keeps us engaged. Keeps us really excited to come to work.
Don't cry.
I'm not crying. I seriously just have phlegm in my throat. Is that it?
Is that a medical
It's a great
term?
way to end.
That's a great way to wrap this up. If you don't remember anything else, guys, Sarah Drew,
Watch
phlegm in her throat.
Watch for this.
Watch for
Look for
this. Watch
Weird.
tonight. Oh, we're doing a live tweet session at
For the 8 o'clock Eastern, so that's 5 o'clock Pacific.
8 o'clock
We'll do our
Eastern.
best to avoid spoilers, but yeah, we'll be live.
or there
Tweeting.
will definitely be spoilers.
Sure.
So if you don't want to know what happens,
Watch anyway.
just tweet with us anyway.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
It's fun.
Okay.
Japril the movie.
Thanks, guys.